Khan. Right. First and foremost, I want to say call Allah Yahweh. Right. By Hashem Yahushua. Right. That is to say, all praises to the Most High God. Right. Yahweh and His only begotten Son named Yahweh Shah. We are K.O.Y Israelites. Right. I'm Captain Gubba War. Right. Gubba War Gabar. And I just wanted to bring a lesson out to the people today, man. Right. About right, are you willing to be faithful unto death? Right, because that's a question in Israel, man, and that's the question that all Israel need to actually ask themselves. Are you willing to be faithful until you die? Right, for Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai, man. Right, and Lord willing, right, most of the brothers and sisters that's watching, right, will be faithful until they dying day. Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into it. Right. First off, we're gonna start with the book of let me see, the book of Matthew, chapter 26 and 36, right, to 43. So the readings today are gonna be a little lengthy. Why? Because I want to give full accounts, right, of brothers and sisters that was faithful unto death. I don't want to get half of account, right? I don't want to just go precept to precept, right? Because you don't really get the meat, the steak, and the potatoes, right? For the people or with the situations where the people, right, were faithful until they died, man. So the first one we're gonna go to is the book of Matthew with Yahweh Shai's, right, walk into death, unto death, right? And it wasn't easy for him, let alone will it be easy for us. All right. So this is the book of Matthew, right? Chapter 26 and verse number 36. It says, Then cometh Yahweh Shai with them unto a place called Geth Shemain, right? Or Geth Semain, right? And it says, And saith unto his disciples, Sit ye here while I go and pray yonder, right? And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy, right? So on the way there, Yahweh Shah was already crying because he already know, man, that it's time, right, for me to give up the ghost. And Yahweh Shah was in the flesh, right? So he still felt everything, man, right? He still had all his feelings, man, even in the heavens, man, right? Yahweh Shai, man, he's a jealous God, man, right? In the book of Exodus, right, chapter 2 and verse number 25, right, the scripture tell us that Yahweh Shai, man, looked down on the affliction of Israel, right, and got sorrowful, man, and had respect unto them, man. That word respect, right, goes into having pity, man, right, having sorrow for them, man, right, meaning that he cared for these people, right. So he said, it says, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then saith he unto them, My soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. Right? So it's not a bad thing, man, to cry in front of brothers and sisters, man, or to cry in front of people, man. Right? Because Yahweh Shai did it, man. Right? But people nowadays, man, say, "Oh man, you weak if you cry, man. You should never let nobody see you sweat, man. Never let nobody see you cry." Right? About you crying, man, they gotta check their spirit, man. Right? Because there's many things for us to be sorrowful for, man. Right? I was going to try to keep on the hoodie, right? Because it's kind of windy out here to block out some of the wind, man. But I just don't feel comfortable like that. Right? I try to respect, the writings of Paul where he said your head covered or uncovered. Right? So it says, then he said unto them, My soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. And he went a little further and fell on his face, man. Right. So when we going through these trials and tribulations, man, coming into Jacob's trouble, where we gonna end up being put to death. A lot of us gonna be martyrs for Yahweh Shai, right? When we start getting put to death, man, that's what you need to do, man. When they come to kill you, man, fall on your face, right? What you gonna do? Just sling iron? You gonna be one of those brothers just shooting it out with everybody, man, slinging iron, man? You still gonna die. You might as well take that time, man, to fall on your face, man, and reverence the Lord, right? Because the Lord will send somebody else, a angel, right, through a brother or a sister, man, to kill those people that's trying to kill you, man, right? To where you ain't even had to pick up arms and your life is still spared, right? Because the Lord fight for us. It says, and he fell on his face, my father, right? But now, and he says, oh my father, right? Abba Yahweh, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, but as thy will, right? He said, hey man, don't let my will be done, but let your will be done, man. Right? So are you willing to be faithful unto death when it comes down to, you not having control whether you live or you die, man? Right? That's the question at hand. And verse 40, it says, and he cometh unto the disciples and findeth them asleep. Right? So he come back, the disciples are sleeping, and saith unto Peter, what? Could ye not watch with me 1 hour? Right? You couldn't have stayed up a little bit longer, man. Right? You couldn't have stayed up a little bit longer, man. Right? To watch for me, man, before they come get me or kill me early. Right? Because they got a time where I need to be delivered up, man. Right now is not the time. But stay up, man. Stay awake, Peter, Simon. Right? And watch for me. Right? It says, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, right? But the flesh is weak, man. And in these last days, man, when we get tempted of the tempter might just be weak, man. Right? And your spirit might be weak, man. That's why brothers need to be fasting, praying, right? Studying, right? Keeping the law in their inward parts, right? So that way in these last days, man, we're able to have this faith unto death, man. It says, and he went away again the second time and prayed and saying, oh Abba, right? Oh Abba Nawa, right? Oh my father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done. And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. And he left them and went away again and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then cometh he to his disciples and saith unto them, sleep on now and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed unto the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. Behold, they would betray me. Right? So you're gonna have people that you truly love, man. You might have your mama, your wife, right? Your loved ones, your children, right? They might be the ones that betray you up unto this vile nation, man, called the daughter of Babylon, right? Their armies might come through, man, and your brother or your little sister, man, like, yeah, he a Hebrew Israelite, he practiced the custom, right? And they come snatch you up, man, right? Just like Judas Iscariot did to Yahweh Shai, man, one of his brothers, man, best friend to that brother, right? To our big brother, man, Yahweh Shai, right? So are you willing to be faithful unto death? Because we know what happened at the end of this, right? We know what happened at the end of this, man, right? Yahweh Shai got put to death, man. Right? So I'm not gonna go into the whole point of Yahweh Shai getting put to death. We all know that Jesus Christ died, right? And rose again the third day. So I want to go into another situation, man, right? About Meshach, Shadrach, and the Bendigo, man, the three Hebrew brothers. All right, so I'm gonna go to the book of Daniel, right? The book of Daniel, chapter 3, and starting at verse 1. Because we know that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they was faithful unto death, right? They didn't have no problem with dying, right? Being faithful unto death. So I'm gonna read this. It says, Salak, I need to kind of highlight this thing because there's a lot of good points in here. Salak. All right. So it reads, this is the book of chapter verse 1. Uh, Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in a plain of in the plain of Dura, Salakia, in the province of Babylon, right? So this is the Babylonian captivity, right? Salak. Starting to get a little bit hot, a little bit hot. All right. So it says, then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, and the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces. Right. So we know that Nebuchadnezzar, right? He he went to call all the chief officers, man, so that way he could implement a new rule that these people need to serve this God, right? These people need to serve this God who is uh right of gold, right? This God of gold. So it says Salakia, y'all. They got a brother calling me from work. Uh be patient with me, Salakia. And it says to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. Then the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the province were gathered together unto the dedication of the image, right? That Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar has set up. Then, and Salakia, a Harvard, I don't know how to say this word, is in the Old English. A harlot or something cried aloud to uh to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages. Right. So I guess this is a person that that has like basically a microphone or a trumpet that you can speak through. It says that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, uh, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye shall fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up. And who so falleth not down and worship it, shall the same hour be cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, at this time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all the kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshiped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. Right. So sometimes you got things, right? That's like your flag, man, right? Your so-called American flag, man. Right? That's like your so-called Salaki. That's like your so-called American flag, man. Right? During school, man, they had all of us, man, stand up, right? Put our hand over our chest and say, damn, bless this wicked country, man. Right? Unto this flag, man. You had to face the flag, man. Right? Same thing with ancient Babylon, man. Say, hey, when the sounds go up and the music go, hey, you gotta fall down on your face and worship this thing, right? So it's the same way with these with this wretched nation that we in, man, right? And dropping down to verse 11, and it says, and who so falleth not down and worship that he should be cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Right? So now you got a snitch, man. Right? Now you got a snitch, man. Some type of Chaldean, man, the ancient Chaldean, a Cushite, right? Telling on Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, man. Right? That they won't fall down and worship the God of Nebuchadnezzar. Right? And then Nebuchadnezzar says this. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? If ye, right, be ready that at Salakia. If ye Now, if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, the harp, the flute, the sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, I skipped a little bit, all kinds of music, ye shall fall down and worship the image which I have made well. But if ye worship not, ye shall be cast in that same hour into the midst of the fiery furnace. And who is that power that shall deliver you out of my hand? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said unto the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter, right? Because if you go before a king, and Salakia, this key points for me. It said if you go right in front of a king, man, you kind of gotta like watch what you say to that king, man, because the power of your life is in that king's hand, man. Right? So you can't just go to the king and talk all sporty, man. Right? But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said, "Damn that, man! Right? Forget that. I'm gonna say this. I'm not gonna answer you carefully in this matter, man. I'm gonna say this exactly how the f I feel, man. Right? So they did such. Right? It says, but if not, Salak. It says, verse 19. Then Salakia. Uh, Salaki. Okay, where am I at? Salaki. Okay, verse 17. If it be so, our God. Oh, let me start. We are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our power, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship thy golden image, which thou hast set up. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and he formed of his visage, and the form, Salakia, and the form of his visage, right, his appearance, his look, was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spoke and commanded that they would heat the furnace, and he spoke, right, Salakia, uh, and he spoke and commanded that they should heat the furnace 17 times more than it was to be, man, right? So we see, right, that he wasn't playing no games, man. He turned the fire all the way up, man. If your God's gonna save you, we're gonna find out today, man. Cause I'm gonna turn this thing up, man, so hot, right? It'll be 7 times hotter than what it is right there. Salaki, y'all. Let me text this person. All right, calm. So like I was saying, man, he heated it up 7 times more than it usually is, right? So verse number 20, and it reads, and he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to blind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and cast them, right? I mean, to bind, right? To bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosens, right, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast Salak, in the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, the furnace exceedingly hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So they opened up the furnace, right? And the furnace jammed up the men that was supposed to be throwing Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego in the fire, man. That's how hot this fire was, man. So you gotta think about it. Like at that time, man, when they got slew, where was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, man? Right? They probably walked into that furnace on their own, man. Say, hey, man, just close the door. Cause the men that threw them in there, Salaki, the men that threw them in there, that threw all three of them in there, they died, man, of the fiery furnace because it was too hot, right? So it says, uh, Salakia, it says, verse 23. Right, and like I said, I'm not gonna go through a plethora of precepts, man. It's not that type of day, man. I'm gonna read through it, man. Kind of talk on it, right? And this is like why we need to read as a people, man, because we understand these stories. These stories get in our blood, and it allow us, right, to be willing to be faithful unto death, man. Right, you got some people they'll be faithful all the way until they get their ear chopped off, until they get their fingers cut knuckle by knuckle, right? Then arms, wrist by elbow by shoulder, right? And then they finally give in and say, I can't lose another arm, right? Nah, man, you got to be faithful unto death, man, right? And you got to be willing to be faithful unto death, man, right? So it says, and these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound in the midst of the furnace, the fiery furnace, right? Then so they fell down in the furnace, right? Nobody wasn't even able to get them in there, right? They fell down into the furnace, right? Then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, was astonished, right? Meaning he was astounded, man. He was astonished, man, and rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors, did not we cast three men bound into the midst of the fire? And they answered and said unto the king, true, king, right? True, Malak, right? He answered and said, lo, I see four men loose walking in the midst of the fire. So that means that the fire had to burn up all the rope or whatever they was bound up in. Right? The fire had to burn all that up so they could stand up and start working. Because they fell down into the fire. Right? And like the Lord told us, man, he said to bind up the brokenhearted, man, to put back together the brokenhearted, man, and loose the chains and the shackles off of the captives, man. Right? And our brothers, man, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, they was bound, man. And it says, and he answered and said, lo, I see four men walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the fourth is like the Son of God, right? The Son of Yahweh, which is Yahushua. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near unto the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, Yahweh, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fiery furnace, And the princes, governors, and captains, and kings, counselors, being gathered together, saw these men upon those whose bodies, Salaki, upon those whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair, right? Not a hair, nor was a hair on their heads singed, neither were their clothes or coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Right? So when Yahweh is for you, man, no one can be against you, man. Right? So when we be faithful unto death, we need to know, man, that a knife, right? If they trying to slay us with a knife, man, a knife might break on our forehead, man. Right? The knife might fall out their hand, man, turn around like a boomerang and stab them in the heart, man. So we need to have faith, man, till our dying seconds. Right? It says, then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, blessed be the God, right, Yahweh, of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who had sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any power except their own Yahweh, right? Therefore I spake a decree that every people, nation, and language which spake anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut into pieces, and their house shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other power, right, that can deliver after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. Right? So we got to understand, man, the Lord is our keeper, man. Right? The Lord shall not slumber, nor neither shall he sleep, man. Roughly paraphrasing, I believe that's Psalm chapter 118. Right? I don't know what verse, but it's in there. Right? I think. Right? So, the Lord, man, shall not slumber nor sleep, man. He's going to protect those that fear him and that trust in him and do the will of the Lord, man. Right? So, hey, man, we got to be willing once again to be faithful unto death, man. Right? And I'm gonna get the 7 children, right? And I'm gonna get on off of here, man. Right? I'm gonna get the 7 children that got killed, right, with their mama right there, and then I'm gonna get on out, man. Right? So this is the book of Maccabees, second Maccabees, right? Chapter 7 and verse. We'll start at 1, right? 1 to 7. Then we're gonna read 18 to 25. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just read it all. I'm gonna go into the Hebrew 7 sons, and I'm gonna go into Eleazar, right? Elder brother. Right. So this is the book, right, of Second Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 1 to 7, right? And it reads, and it came to pass, Salaki, verse 1, right? Second Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 1. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken, right? And it reads, and were and 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, right? And we know in our law, right, Leviticus chapter 11 and verse number 7, no, yeah, verse number 7, it tells us that we cannot eat swine's flesh, right? So these are devout men, man, right? Really warrior spirit men, man, right? That's willing to die, right, to be faithful unto death, man. Right? It says compelled to eat swine's flesh. I mean, yeah, compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented with scourges and whips. But one of them that spake first said thus, what wouldest thou ask or learn of us? we are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers, man. Right? You got to ask yourself, man. Right? Cause people think, man, you get a little taste of gelatin, right? You get a little cup of Jello. Yeah, it's not a problem. It's just just Jello. I ain't eating no pork skin or no pig, actual pig. It's just gelatin, right? Would you be faithful, right, unto the death, right, to not eat pork, man? Right? You gotta really ask yourself that. Cause these brothers, man, they said, nah, man, we ain't doing that. We'd rather die than we taste that, right? Are you willing to go through excruciating pain for this, man? Right? We're gonna keep reading the story. It says, Khan, rather than to transgress the law, we are ready to die rather than transgress the law of our father. Then the king, being enraged, right? Damn Edom, right? Being enraged, agreed, commanded pains and cauldron to be bought, to and cauldrons to be made hot, right? Which forthwith being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that first spake, and to cut it off, Salakia, and to cut off the uttermost parts of his body, the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on, right? So everything that protrudes out of your body, right? Your nose, your ears, your tongue, right? Your genitalia, right? He said, hey, you got to cut all that off, man. Right? Cut all that off, throw it in the pot. Right? Cauldron is a pot, man. These wicked Grecians, right? Just like the Grecians that came to America, they cook our men's, right? uh Privy parts, man, and they eat them, man, right? And they cook your Salaki, they cook your eyeballs, man. They cook men, right, of Israel and eat them, man. Right? What the hell you need a cauldron for, man? Right? And making it hot, man, and then cutting off the tongue, man. What you think they did with those parts, man? They threw them in the pot so they could make a gumbo with human body parts, man. Right? The wicked, right? A wicked brother, man, formerly known as Cain, now known as Esau Edom. And it says, and his mother, right, his brother, the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on, man, looking at him get thrown, cut into pieces, and his parts thrown in the dang pot, man. Now, when he was thus maimed, right, so they cut off all his limbs, his hands and his feet, right, and when he was maimed in all his members, right, he commanded him, being yet alive, to be brought to the fire and to be fried in the pan, man. Right? So now they frying this brother in the pan, man. After they cut off all his parts, man, his legs, right, his arms all the way to his shoulder, right, and throw him in a pan and cook him up, man. Right? That's wicked, man. Right? Now, I don't even want to know how human body part tastes, man. Right? But you gotta think these people are so wicked that they would taste human body parts, right? To be brought to the fire and to be fried in the pan. And as the vapor of the pan was for a good space dispersed, that it was a big old pan, that they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying, right? So now these Hebrews, right, these Israelites, these Jews, right, talking amongst themselves, it says they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, thus saying, the Lord Yahweh looketh upon us, and truth had comfort in us, as Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faces, declared, saying, and he shall be comforted in his servants, man. Right? So Yahweh is going to be comforted in his servants, man. The people that serve him unto death, man. Right? So at the end of the day, man, these brothers is back on the earth, right? That sister, that mom, right, is back on the earth, man, willing to die, for Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Verse 7, it says, so when the first was dead after this manner, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock. And when they had pulled off the skin of his head with his hair, they asked him, wilt thou eat before thou be punished through every member of thy body? Right? That's how wicked they is. Pull the next one out, scalp them. Will you eat before I cut you asunder, man? Till I keep making body parts disappear off of you, right? Until I'm tired and throw you in the frying pan as well, man. Right? Hey, man. The brother said what? The brother said, verse 8, but he answered in his own language and said, no, right? La'ah. Wherefore he also received the next torment in order of that the former did, right? Dropping down to verse number 18. And it says, after him, right? So I believe this is the fourth, right? Let me see. Khan. I believe that's the fourth one, right? I mean the fifth one, the last son. I mean, yeah. So the seventh one, the last son. After him also they brought the sixth, right? This is verse 18. It says, after him also they brought the sixth, who being ready to die said, be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our power. Therefore, marvelous things are done unto us. But think not that thou that takest in hand to strive against God, meaning for you afflicted me, don't think that you getting away with this, that thou shall escape unpunished, man. You're gonna get jammed up, man. If the Lord jamming me up like this by your hand, you're gonna get jammed up, man. We know Esau's judgment is horrible, man, and horrid. And it's gonna be right, it's gonna be to the end of their nation, man. They're gonna be fully extinguished off of the face of the earth, man. It says, but the mother was marvelous above all and worthy of honorable memory, right? So the mom, man, she's worthy of the memory that she have gotten, right, from her mighty act, right? So let's see what the mom has said to her son, right? For her, marvelous, but the mother was marvelous above all, worthy of honorable memory. For when she saw her seventh son slain with the space of one day, her seven sons, Salakia, with an S, slain within the space of one day, she bare it with good courage because of the hope that she had in Yahweh. Yea, she exhorted every one of them in her own language, filled with courageous spirits, and stirring up her whamish thoughts, right? With a manly Salakia, with a manly uh stomach, she said unto them, I cannot tell how you came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you, but doubtless the creator of the world, who formed the generation of man and found out the beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again, as you now regard not your own selves for this law's sake. Now Antiochus himself thinking himself despised and suspecting to be reproachful speech, Salakia. And Antiochus thinking of himself despised and spectating it to be a reproachful speech, right? Meaning she talking smack about him. Whilst the youngest was yet alive, did not only exhort him by words, but also assured him right? So it goes back into what she was saying, right? Whilst the youngest was yet alive, did not only exhort him by words, but also assured him with oath that he would make him both a rich. Oh no, that's Antiochus, right? Make the seventh son a rich and happy man if he would turn from the laws of his fathers, and that also he would take him for his friend and trust him with affairs. Man, we not believing no damn devil, man. Right? So you think the son believed that, man? Nah, you gonna have to kill me just like you did my brothers, man. Right? You gonna have to kill me just like you did my brothers. And it says, but when the young man would in no case hearken unto him, the king called his mother and exhorted her that she would counsel the young man to save his life. And so like we're gonna read a little bit longer. It says, and when he had exhorted her with might with many words, she promised him that she would counsel her son. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you. I'm gonna talk to him. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make sure he do that for you. But she blowing herself towards him, bowing herself, Salakia. But she bowing herself towards him, laughing and laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn, spake in her country language on this manner: O my son, have pity on me that bare thee 9 months in my womb, and gave thee suck 3 years. Right. So it's a custom that we give our kids, right, the breast for 3 years. And it says, gave thee suck 3 years, and nourished thee, and brought thee up unto this age, and endured the troubles of education. Right? Our woman also endured the troubles of education. I beseech thee, my son, look upon the heaven and the earth and all that is therein, and consider that Yahweh made them of things that were not, man. Right? He formed everything from nothing, man, from a vapor, from elements that it was dark on earth, man. We know the story, right? It says, and so was mankind made likewise, man, out of the elements. And it says, fear not this tormentor, but being worthy of thy brethren, take thy death, that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brethren, man, in the resurrection, right? So that's the type of mama, man, brothers and sisters need, man. That's the type of spirit that we need as Israel, right? Is to be willing to die, right? To obey the will of the Most High God, man, and to be willing to be faithful to God unto death, man, right? So I'm gonna go into this last one, and then I'm gonna let brothers and sisters go, man, right? So I can have a little minute on my lunch, man, right? So it says, this is the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 6, right? And verse number 18. And it reads, Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man, right? An aged man, and of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh. But he he choosing rather to die, right? Eleazar chose rather to die, 90-year-old man, choosing rather to die the glory die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination. Spit forth, right? Hatugi, spit forth, and came of his own accord to the torment, man, as it behooved them to come, that are Salakia, that are resolute to stand out against such things as Salakia, yeah, resolute to stand out against such things as are not lawful for the love for love of life to be tasted, right? So he's saying, hey, look, man, I'm not tasting that because the love of life, man, is the ways of the Most High, right? And he told us not to eat pork, right? as are not lawful for the love of life to be tasted, man. Right? So I look, man, I'm not tasting that, man, because that's death, man. Right? But they that had charge of that wicked feast for the old acquaintance, they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him, right, pleading with him, to bring flesh of his own provision, meaning something chicken, beef, whatever that we could eat lawfully, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king. And this is why they put that damn pork in everything that we buy from the store, man. It's because if they could make us go off accidentally, they feel like that we right, we're gonna be under this kingdom forever, man. Right? But it's not so, right? And it says what? It says taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king, that in so doing he might be delivered from death, and for an old friendship with them find favor. But he began to consider discreetly, right? So he started to think within himself, it is lawful, whatever, whatever, right? Started But he began to consider discreetly, and as became his age and excellency of his ancient years, and the excellency of his ancient years, Salakia, and the honor of his great head whereinto he was come, and and his most honest education from a child, which is being built up in the laws, statutes, commandments, right, and the prophets, or rather the holy law made and given by Yahweh. Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straightways to send him to the grave. Man, you gonna have to kill me, for it becoming not our age, he said he, in any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old, and 90 years old, were now gone to a strange religion, right? And so they through so so they, through mine hypocrisies and desires to live a little time and a moment longer, should be deceived by me, and I get a stain on my old age and make it abominable, man. So you see in chapter 7, right? In chapter 7, we got right, the 7 sons and the mom get put to death, man. Right? And if Eleazar would have ate it in his old age, those children, right, probably would have ate the pork as well. The mom would have ate the pork, or ate the pork as well, right? But they had an example, right, or an example, right, telling them that it's not okay, right? And with that, I want to say the water for all the brothers and sisters that tuned in for a couple seconds, right, that will tune in, right? May Yahweh bless y'all on your journeys, man. And Lord willing, y'all be faithful unto death, man. Right? And with that, I'll say, Kwam Yashala and Shalom.